Welcome to Biztech's Marketing Show. Our guest today is Tom Simpson, the non-executive chair of TotallyAwesome. TotallyAwesome is Asia Pacific's #1 platform, curating the largest supply of media inventory, engaging under 18 safely. Now, the platform enables a youth-safe digital ecosystem with more than 500 million monthly active users across the Asia Pacific region, offering youths customized content through age-appropriate engagement. Now, if that seems like a big mouthful, then let's get Tom to tell us a little bit more about TotallyAwesome. Now, welcome to the show, Tom.
Hey, Brian, great to be here. Great intro. It sounds complicated, doesn't it? But I think it's actually pretty simple.
Now, but before we get into TotallyAwesome, you've got a very interesting background. You've got 15 years of experience in tech, growth marketing, a startup founder. You've had 2 exits. Tell us more about your background and how you got involved in angel investing, and then also that focus on TotallyAwesome.
Cool. Okay. I mean, I'll give you a sort of a shorter version of the story. I started off in marketing and advertising, and probably around the beginning of the Web 2 era, where social media was really coming in. Google and Facebook were pushing hard, and there was lots of digital advertising interest. I came over to Asia. I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to come over to Asia and work for WPP. And I began to understand the opportunity out here to build digital ad services. So I launched my first startup around data and automated advertising almost 10 years ago now, which is a crazy long time ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, great fun. Very, very early to be launching digital ad services in Asia Pacific. So yeah, I mean, crazy long time ago, and crazy early to be building digital ad services in APAC, but huge opportunity. And then I went over to a company called Ad Colony and started building around gaming, and began to understand that I'd come into the ad ecosystem, come into digital around the beginning of the social media era, but really the next era of digital, the next era of the web will be built around gaming. And Ad Colony began to understand the power of that. Gaming is the platform on which the next generation of digital services will be built. We can already see that with young people. I mean, Gen Zs are spending more time in gaming than they spend in social media or whatever. And there's lots of other things that grow out of that gaming environment. I mean, firstly, gaming is the pathway to the metaverse, and I don't think we're all going to be walking around with VR goggles on in 5 years' time, but in 20 years' time, I wouldn't be surprised if we spend a lot of time in a kind of in virtual world. So anyway, gaming is kind of the gateway to the metaverse. So lots of stuff around digital assets, so NFTs, blockchain, Web3. All of this is beginning to become most evident within that gaming space. So I've got a real passion around digital ads, gaming, and TotallyAwesome for me is kind of this incredible crossover with that advertising purpose. So my kind of, really my background, my skill set, automation, data, context, gaming. So, gaming is clearly where young people are spending their time online, and is absolutely the hub of what we do at TotallyAwesome. So, it's an online playground. The final part of it, and again, this comes from the start of my journey in Web 2. There's a bit of social purpose in there, because when I came into digital advertising, I was so wowed by what Google and Facebook were doing, and by this incredible new world that we were building. And over the past 15 years, I think it's become apparent how problematic some of these digital services are, right? To society from a business context. And one of the great things about Totally Awesome is we're trying to build a space that is safe for young people to spend time online, so that, surveillance advertising, the big tech behavior modification algorithms, which, I mean, we all know are problematic for society, but that we don't expose young people to that. And that's really, really important and interesting.
Now, tell us about Totally Awesome itself. How did the company come about, and what is really its footprint like in the Asia Pacific region?
Okay, cool. So Totally Awesome was originally a company called Super Awesome. So Super Awesome, laser focus on youth safe advertising. Super Awesome was purchased by Epic for reasons which are too long to go into right now. Epic took the US and European assets and didn't take the Asian and Latin American assets. So Totally Awesome now operates as a separate business within the Asia Pacific region, focused on youth safe advertising. Our footprint is Japan, across to India, down to Australia, and working with the biggest brands and agencies in the region to deliver youth safe, youth first advertising.
Okay, Tom, when you say the biggest brands, and the youth market is obviously just so diverse, give us a sense of the kind of brands that you work with, and perhaps even highlight some campaigns that you specifically work with them on.
Yeah, sure. So I think the biggest and most forward-thinking brands in the kind of youth advertising space is probably Lego, and we do a lot of work with Lego. We did a really interesting piece of work with them, because I mean, they've got a footprint that stretches from very early days with Duplo through Lego, and all of the fantastic brand diversification they've done with Lego. I can get Star Wars Lego, Marvel Lego, whatever it is, up to kind of older youths with Lego Technic. And we did a great piece of work with them, mapping out how different consumers across those age groups respond to the online context, advertising, how to communicate with them in terms of influencers, spending time on YouTube, within gaming, and how that relates to those three core product sets that we've got, and how we can walk young people along that journey so that they stay within the Lego ecosystem. So, I mean, Lego is a huge customer.
The thing with Lego is this: Lego Technic is also used by a lot of management consulting and training firms to train corporations. And one of the things, it's around thought processes. It's also around building teamwork.
Absolutely. And I think that's where it kind of, crosses over with this social purpose, that we have. It was a really interesting, so every year we've got a big team here of behavioral psychologists, experts, researchers who help us understand young people. We've got a huge panel of young people and parents that we consult with to get, to really, get to the nitty-gritty of what's going on. But something really interesting, so we do a big piece of work every year, piece of research that we launch to the market and say, this is what young people are interested in, kids, whatever. One of the most interesting things that came out of this year's study is the connection between gaming and play and, good kind of psychological outcomes, feeling good about yourself, improvement in creativity and problem solving ability. And I think that that's obviously something there that is within Lego Technic, but it's inherent within play. Play is a really interesting and useful behavior, and that kind of, it aligns with the brands that we work with. It aligns with the way that we deliver our media in terms of, gaming is just becoming this really important channel, but it also really aligns philosophically with the way that we think about communication and with that kind of social purpose.
So, but this is also the dilemma in terms of gaming, right? On one hand, from a parental standpoint, lens looking in, and also from a societal standpoint, one of the challenges that we're facing is young people have disengaged from the real world because they spend so much time on gaming. But there are advantages, as you pointed out, that gaming actually helps in experiential learning and simulation. What are companies like you doing in terms of trying to balance this?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is a really interesting question, Brian, because we all understand, the problematic side of the online experience. And again, I just kind of go back to, the big tech behavior modification algorithms. These are problematic issues for society and for young people, and we want to ensure that young people are protected. So I think, firstly, when we're working with businesses like Lego, or when we're working with other businesses that have play built into them, that's one key part of taking people away from online, giving kids things to do in a physical space, and so not spending so much time online. I think the other thing that I'd say is, if you look back at history, when 100 years ago, it would be children are spending too much time reading and not kind of engaging with the physical world. 30 years ago, it was television, the drug of the nation, and TV zombies. 10 years ago, it was kids spending too much time on social media. Maybe today it's children spending too much time with gaming or something like that. So I think there's an element here in which we're the adults standing there looking at the children saying, you shouldn't be doing that, but actually that behavior becomes normalized. So needs to be built within safe parameters, operated in a safe way. Big tech behavior modification algorithms, bad things, but as long as done safely, then it's a positive thing.
Okay, now speaking of having it done safely, TotallyAwesome has built the industry first youth safe desk and youth safe tag certification of products, so that you offer marketers in terms of brand safety. Tell us about that and how this pushes the envelope in terms of safety.
Yeah, so that's something that we're building out our technology. So we've got one of the things that we're doing with our funding. Going back to the money that we raised recently. So we're really focused on building out our technology aligned with our kind of human curation. So we've got a big tech team. What we do is we offer brands and marketers that we work with access to dashboards, access to research, and access to automated and safe advertising tools so that they can reach consumers in a safe way. We do that with a combination of, as I said, working with behavioral psychologists and researchers to kind of set that those brand safe parameters, what it means to execute advertising communication safely online. And then we use machine learning, context curation, really clever context curation stuff to actually build that. And then we use our dashboards to deliver insights so that brands and advertisers can see that their campaigns are being delivered in a youth safe way, but also can actually actionably impact the outcome of their campaign, so they can actually deliver advertising.
And you do that via a methodology, isn't it? You have 4 different business pillars, which you have totally consulting, creating, planning, and engaging. Yeah. So, and you wrap that up into delivering this solution, 360 solution to your clients.
Yeah, totally. So, consulting is, it's more like a psychology department than a consulting arm. That's where we work with our customers to help them understand, what youth safe means for them, and to set parameters for the industry around what youth safety is. We've got Totally Creating, which is our creative hub. So building creatives that both are, safe for young people, but also engaging and, drive outcomes for the brands that we work with. We've got the Totally Planning, which is what I was just talking about. So we've got tools that, our customers can use to access those insights about young people, but also action their campaigns and deliver advertising. And then we've got Totally Engaging, which is our that's actually the advertising part of our business, where brands can actually deploy their media budget with us, either across YouTube or a range of apps, sites, gaming experiences, and connect with young people.
Now, Tom, I want to zoom in on you now. What's your role as non-executive chair, TotallyAwesome? What do you bring to the table, and how does that gel with the 10 million that you've just raised in venture capital money?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I think big growth objectives for the next few years. We've just raised in a market where it's very, very difficult to raise. So, we're super proud of that. And we think that that is a vote of confidence for our business, a vote of confidence for what we do, which is great. We're going to use that money to double down on our technology. And you talked about, kind of tag earlier on. I mean, for us, that's one of the key kind of growth drivers for our business, is wrapping up everything that we do in a simple SaaS tag that our customers can take and stick within their advertising platforms and use it to deliver youth-safe advertising in an automated way. So kind of moving from that, kind of packaged media technology tools business to to having a really core SaaS play. So that's really important. I think the other thing that's super important is expanding the scope of what we do. So, to date, we've talked about youth safe advertising, and I think that's one component of connecting with young people, is making sure that you do it in a safe way. I think the other really important part of it, and the opportunity for brands, is doing it in a way that engages them and delivers that brand uplift. So it's kind of a shift from youth safe to youth first, and exploring the opportunities, especially with Gen Zs, as to how to communicate with them in that kind of way that protects them. But then we know so much about how young people operate, about what they like, and how can we bring that to brands and help them to kind of deliver better results. So, I mean, for me, my background, as we've talked about, is building ad tech platforms. I've got a real focus around gaming, data, automation. So, I mean, I'm spending time working with the senior team here, and then, kind of deep diving into projects. And we've got this incredible tech team in Vietnam. So spending a bit of time over there, and just trying to accelerate the way that we present our product to the market, because we've got all the pieces there. We just, it's just how we put it together and how we go to market, and that's what I love doing. So,
Tom, it's been a fascinating conversation and really very educational as well. But before we leave, any final thoughts you'd like to share with the audience?
Yeah, I think for me, the opportunity for brands to engage with young people is huge. I mean, we talk about youth first advertising. One of the great things about young people is the number of firsts that they go through, right? So, I mean, I don't know, first date, first bank account, first car. It's that time up to the age of 24 is an era of firsts, and there's a real opportunity for brands to connect with young people in a way that means you secure your relationship for a lifetime, if you do it in the right way. And if you don't do it in the right way, you kind of lose those potential consumers forever. So getting it right at that, with young people is crucial for all brands, not just kind of, Lego or brands focused around that youth safe segment.
Now, Tom, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Cool. Brian, thanks for having me, mate. Brilliant to be here again.
We've been speaking to Tom Simpson, non-executive chair, TotallyAwesome. I'm Brian Fernandez. This has been BizTech's Marketing Show. This interview will be on our website, www.biztech.asia, as well as our social media platforms. It will also be on our syndication partners, TV stations, radio stations, and websites. Thanks a lot for tuning in.